one thing that people seemingly really don't touch on is mutations, natural mutations, ones that aren't issues and that aren't detrimental to your grow. These are just a part of how the plant grows. And some of them are artificially modified to be like this, and others may hate those things. Others are just naturally within the genetic makeup of how these plants were bred. And I think it's kind of cool to go over some of these things. It may help people understand some of the morphology of their plants a little bit, and also could help them see the vast variety of morphology that you see within the plants.
Yeah, 100%. Before we get too far, I actually want to highlight terpes mutant genetics. I'm sure there's a ton of breeders out there that are focusing on mutant genetics, but I stumbled across them like last year, and they focus solely on perpetuating mutants, kind of exploiting that.
Professor
that
Xavier
mutation.
is what we call him in the streets.
Yeah.
You know, all he wants is the mutants, man. He's like, bring your children mutants.
Come here.
Yes. It makes the craziest stuff, man. When you see some of the makeup of these, it makes you think there could be something wrong with the plant. Or it's not even the plant that we've been talking about. Like this is mint or a fern or something else. But it's the crazy, unique morphology of the ugly ducklings that people have maybe kicked to the side that can bring some very unique flower that would shock a lot of people in the quality.
Yeah, I mean, one that comes to mind right away is duck's foot. So that's a mutation that was popular back in the day. I feel like not a lot of people really grow it out these days, but it is something if you want to be discreet, because it doesn't really look like canna, right? It's like it looks different, and so it's easy to be discreet. You can grow it in large batches and not get known. So if you're in one of those prohibition areas, I'm sure that there's some folks that are just specializing in growing that in order to like prevent them from getting caught.
100%. When you get something that blends in, that it's only once it's towards the end of life that it's really noticeable, that it's different, that's huge, man. And I think at that point you can trick people to believing that also is a mutation of a normal, like a fern or something else. Because you'd be like, look at the leaves. That's what the masses know, herb as. They're going to look at the leaf. If it doesn't look like the Canadian maple leaf, but green, then it's not legit. Yeah. So I think if you have that, it's a great way to be. That's why maybe the UK has so much of that. I hear often.
True.
So they can hide it and have it blend in, plain sight.
Yeah, webbed leaves.
Yeah.
Webbed leaves on those.
That's bizarre looking.
Didn't you have a duck's foot or no?
No.
Have either of you ever had a mutation of any kind?
I've had, the one that I've had was this Australian one, man. I got it
ABC,
cut. Yeah, I got it from a buddy.
Cannabis.
And I thought something was wrong with my plant and I ended up killing it off. I'm an idiot.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then he was like, dude, I needed the clone back, man. I wanted you. I was like, brother, I thought I had a disease or something. I don't know what was going on with this, man.
Fly. Australian bastard cannabis can actually be tied in with duckfoot in the fact that its uniqueness is that it's almost unidentifiable to the traditional look. Rounded leaves, no serration on the sides. So I could see that being another one, because Australia, if I'm not mistaken, has been pretty
not kosher with herb.
Not kosher, pretty prohibitive.
Now, from what I've read, it's very slow growth rate and low THC, so low potency is often what you'll get off of these, but you'll be able to have something that you can grow and hide within the community of your home potentially, which is pretty cool. If you think about it, you could have this in very low key.
Discreet.
Yeah, man, very discreet, and you could still enjoy the medicinal benefits of herb.
I'm curious now. It's kind of like my ignorance speaking now. Like what some of the most common, like I know Freak Show is pretty common, and you've grown it, you've smoked it, correct?
I've grown it too.
I don't think I had it. But from what I hear, a lot of people say it's not overwhelming in the effect. Are any mutations overwhelming in effect? I'm curious if the mutation is like
taking away some of that. I thought the same exact thing. I thought because it's taking so much time to grow with a deficiency, not a deficiency, but with a mutation of sorts, like somebody with a shorter arm than the other, DJ Paul style. And you may have the disability, and it's disability to not produce high THC.
Okay, yeah. I'd be curious, if you're getting...
It potentially could be. I mean, the growth is different. Then you look into something like, I wouldn't say gene manipulation per se, but like polyploids. The extra chromosome.
Well, before we move on from ABC,
Yeah, the ABC.
Yeah, I didn't hashtag let Kurt speak.
Let him talk. God.
No,
Pigeons?
I want to give a shout out to Shadowborn Genetics, and I think he follows all of us. And he has so many different crosses, but he sent me over a cross, which ABC cross with something else. I have to look it up. But I'm excited because I've never actually grown ABC before, but seeing what he did in particular, as far as taking that, crossing it with something else, I want to see the result that he's getting out of it. That comes out of that. Because, you don't hear about many people working it in their breeding lines.
That's the thing. I feel like with people who are doing that, that's a unique value add in the sense that you have an aesthetic houseplant feel to some of these. And it just is exotic. It's almost a conversation piece. I know having that old fern in my plant, my plant in my garden was that freak show is a freak show for the name is perfect. When you show people that, like, what the hell is that? Like, it literally will stop you in your tracks when you're looking at the room. Now, again, the smoke wasn't ideal.
Oh, here we go. So I had to look it up. He did an Australian bastard cross with blueberry muffin. F3.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So this is what
it
really sparks my interest there.
That's different.
What's going to come out of that?
That blueberry could be what gives it that
man.
over the top.
The blueberry muffin from Humboldt Seed Co. is one of the most blueberry cultivars I've ever seen. From what I've seen in the grow, lower yielding cultivar. So maybe putting these two together, you're going to have very low yielding. But we'll see. It could be a very unique expression that comes from something that you wouldn't have got because it's not a traditional breeding process. The unique part of having these mutants, I feel like, is people haven't grown them out so much to see if there is a new chemical makeup that's different. A terpene that's not expressed as much, or the entourage effect where maybe your THC is lower, but you're getting a medicinal effect that you never would have gotten because they're growing in a different morphology as a whole, which then the energy creates different bud. I don't know. All bro science. Just a thought.
Curious. I think the kind of the experimentation or the science behind, our plant is pretty weak, let alone of mutations, right? So it's like, because the number of breeders that are doing this, I think, are very slim.
Well, and that's where,
really
like,
exploiting. What's
going on right now is chemical-induced mutations. That's where I was getting into with the polys or with triploids, even, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, chat, I know. We don't like those. But some people are swearing by larger yields. Scrogger grew one out from another brand, and they got, raving reviews from him. He said, great yielder, tons dumping, very resinous, and knock on wood. It could be a situation, because I have it too, trilogy seeds, that sort of stuff. As soon as I knocked, brain kicked in.
Mm-hmm.
Those are going to be ones that have a future for commercial grows. Again, I don't know about the home grower because sterilization of the reproduction is not going to produce any seeds, but a lot of us don't care about that as much as we'll clone it and keep it going. But I have other people saying that while it yields more, they've noticed that the potency and the terpenes aren't as enunciated. So they'll get more trichome production, or they'll get more yield for biomass, but not for cannabinoids. So for me, I'm doing it more for cannabinoids these days. I don't know if I'd care about that. What's your guys' feeling on the chemical-induced mutations?
Bring it on.
Bring it
on. Whatever. It's not going to hurt anybody. So
no, unless you're growing in a V-grow and you put a donut triploid in there, and
so triploids are chemically induced.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. See, I've grown out the donut.
They can be. They not. So the natural. So for them, they claimed it was a natural process, but you still need, I believe, the colchicine. Put the pronunciation in the chat, please. And that's going to be essentially how you add the extra chromosome.
What is it? What is that thing that you were trying to say? I've never even heard of that.
It's a chemical essentially that you treat in breedings, and that'll get the polyploid. But when you look at the triploid, you can't have a natural process allegedly of that. But from what I'm reading, the natural process still involves chemical induction. So that is something that scares me in a sense. That's where we're getting into too much gene manipulation. And the mutation isn't so much in the morphology, it's in the chemical compounds and how the plant grows. So it's like that end is mutation for me I don't like. You know what I'm saying? Internal components. I'd rather see the botanical mutations. This FTS clip was brought to you by AC Infinity, leaders in garden innovation. Use discount code TheStash15 at checkout to save some money on your order.
From the Stash Podcast.